Welcome back to Asset Over Liability. I'm Jill Sharp, RN, and joining me again today is my friend Stephanie Basabe. Welcome back.
Thanks for having me.
This is awesome. 3 episodes. I
Yeah.
feel like we've covered some great stuff. Kind of talked a little bit about culinary arts, a little bit about jiu-jitsu, covered, I think, one of just as really fun conspiracy theory,
Yeah.
flat earthing, which was a fun conversation. And I think we even got into motherhood a little bit, training with husbands, all of that kind of stuff. And so, third episode now, I wanted to kind of just explore a little bit. I'm wondering, as you reflect back in your life, growing up in California, traveling all the way across the country to New York City to do culinary arts school, working in like some really cool restaurants, meeting some really famous people, and then even learning a very highly skilled art like sushi making, having children, Brazilian jiu-jitsu, just all of the stuff. What do you think when you reflect on your life? What is the thing that you are most proud of to this point?
Good question. I would say being a mom.
Yeah.
Being a mom is like the greatest accomplishment because I feel I am like so out on a line and there's no real right direction for it. And it's like all based on, well, I hope that was good.
Yeah.
Like, how does my heart feel about that? All right, or like the butterfly effect of like, if I take a toy away from them now, am I creating anxiety or what am I doing in the future for them? So knowing that I can make them happy and seeing smiles on their faces is a huge accomplishment to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I might say the same thing. I think the thing I'm most proud of is having the opportunity to raise a child. And even though, I mean, it definitely it exposes who you are to the core.
Oh yeah.
And, it's like you either try to become a better parent every single day or you just keep
messing up.
Yeah. And I don't know, it's such an adventure, but I know your boys are 3 and 5. Do you have a favorite age yet?
I would say I started really enjoying them at 5. Like Victor is 5 now and he can have great conversation and it's like more logic and more rationality and less like tantrum stage is really hard to talk to.
Yeah.
And no matter how much you try to talk them down from a tantrum, they don't fully understand, they don't get it yet.
Yeah.
So I would say the sweet age is 5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a really special age.
I like that one.
I think, reflecting on motherhood for me with my daughter, I think I loved every stage. Some were more enjoyable than others. Some were really, really hard.
Oh my gosh.
But Amelia is 25 now. And even just yesterday, Amelia made some choices and she had some pretty, serious consequences. And Paul and I have just been walking right next to her, supporting her, not micromanaging, just supporting her, helping her navigate the process. And so yesterday we took her to the mall because she had a pretty great accomplishment. So she wrapped up some hard stuff. She just got this really great job and she's just happier right now than I've ever seen her.
Oh, good.
And so Paul wanted to take her to the Coach store and get her something really, really nice.
Oh, that's so sweet.
And so, Coach always treats you really special. And so she left with just this gigantic paper bag with, some boxes that are wrapped in a ribbon. And I took a video of her because as she's walking through the mall, she is just like standing up tall. She's got this huge smile on her face and she's just so proud.
Oh, good.
And, my mom heart was just like so happy that we could do something for her, like give her that reward.
Right.
That she's proud that she made it. She got a really awesome reward for following through. And I think it just motivates her.
Right. And that you guys noticed it.
We noticed it.
And that's really important because you're supporting her in that, which gives her more confidence and with that poise.
Yeah. That's what it was too, where it's just like and not that I'm like, oh, you need material things to, whatever, but there is also something to earning, she had to do what it took to earn this thing that she wanted, and then to be able to give it to her and to see how that just lifted her up.
Right.
It wasn't about the bag, it was about the process of getting to the bag.
Right. And it sounds like she did it herself.
Yeah.
Which is priceless.
Yeah. Man. So beyond, what makes you most proud, what do you think the hardest thing you've ever done is?
The hardest thing I've ever done.
Yeah.
Like physically or mentally?
The hardest thing, maybe the hardest experience you've ever had, or the hardest you've ever had to work, the hardest you've ever just like clung to something. Just what's the hardest thing where you look back and you're like, man, that shaped me?
Man, I would have to say there's two, but one takes over. I would say jujitsu definitely shaped me and squashed me and built me and still does the same, and then motherhood made me a better person and really thoughtful. I have to be really thoughtful and really patient, even if I don't want to be patient. And the same with jiu-jitsu, you have to be patient with jiu-jitsu. So those two like really kind of coincide with each other. But I think motherhood takes the most exciting and like the hardest too. Because it's crazy.
Yeah, it is. It's truly crazy.
It's truly crazy. I wish somebody would have told me how crazy it really is. Yeah. But I wouldn't trade it.
Yeah. Would you have believed them? Probably not. Would you trade it? Probably not.
No, I wouldn't. I can't. My job is to protect them.
Right.
Make sure they're okay in the world.
Yeah. It's all so damn hard.
It is.
It's the same for me. I think motherhood, so hard. Jiu-jitsu, hard every single time. It never gets easier.
No.
I think you and I are the same. We want to work. Like, I don't want to show up for a lecture.
Right.
I want to show up for drills.
Right.
I want to bounce out of a circle and just be like bent over and exhausted, and to the point that I'm dreading going back in.
Right. Where I'm like nervous.
Yeah.
Because it got me.
Yeah. I don't know. There's just something to pushing yourself so hard that you don't want to go back in, but you still do. Even if it means you're only doing whatever it takes to survive.
Yeah. If something makes me want to go back into it, I know my whole heart's there.
Yeah.
Like for being a mom, it's like, I want to make sure that I am being the best mom to them. That way they can be good for out there. And
you're raising little protectors.
Little gentlemen. I would like to have little gentlemen out there.
I get comments all the time. Paul opens all my doors and puts my coat on for me, pulls my hair out the back. And he does all these gentlemanly things. Yeah. And it just makes me feel so special. And people comment on it.
Right.
Yeah, because you just don't see that very often.
Yeah, they say behind every good man is a good woman.
Yeah. So,
including moms, and their sons.
Yes. So what would, if you had to, if you take yourself today and stand in front of your, 25-year-old self, what's your age?
I'm 38.
Okay, 38. Yeah, so go back 13 years.
Yeah.
So you already were a culinary artist.
At 25, yeah.
Yeah. Were you and Brian together?
I think we just met. When I was 25, we just met.
Yeah.
And then we didn't make it serious until I was 26 or something.
So if you had to go look, if you had to go stand in front of yourself as a 20-something, what advice would you give yourself?
Oh man, I probably would say get yourself into martial arts right now. It doesn't matter what it is. Get yourself busy with something productive.
A practice.
A practice, a something.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think with like graduating from culinary arts, the kitchen place was kind of like a two-edged sword. It was like, yes, I am making it, but the industry doesn't let me out until midnight. And what's open? The bars. So that's what we would do. You know, we would go there and stay there till closing.
Yeah.
And I was being productive. Like I was getting my jobs done and done well, but I think like it was also like spiritually crushing me, and I needed another outlet instead of going out and partying with all the other guys and some girls. Yeah. So I would tell myself to point my direction into something more productive. Martial arts. I wish I would have done martial arts at 25.
Yeah. It just gives you so much discipline.
It does. And when you're 20, in your 20s, you don't need too much sleep. You don't need, you heal up.
You heal
you
fast.
bounce out of bed. Even with a hangover, you bounce out of bed.
Yeah.
And I think I spent it on that instead of spending it on something productive.
Yeah.
So get your ass out of the bar and into, I don't know, a productive place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's what I would do too. I don't know.
Or have babies.
Earlier.
Have babies earlier.
Yeah.
Having babies at like 30, 33 or 35 is hard.
Yeah.
Because you're more tired at that point, I think.
I do. I was 22 when I got pregnant, 23 when I had Amelia. She's 25 now. I'm 48. Paul and I are empty nesters. All of the children are grown.
It's like your second wind.
Yeah.
You still have it.
It is pretty cool.
Yeah. I don't. I have to wait until I think I'm like 56. 50, yeah.
Well, at least 56 is the new 40. So
that's what I've heard. Yeah, it's good. It's good. Think positive.
Yeah, definitely. Anything else to add?
To advice for myself?
Yeah, or just about doing things that make you proud, or choosing hard things, or advice to give.
Just to be a good listener and not to think that you know everything. And it's hard to get, like when you're 20 or when you're in your teenage years, you think you know everything, and you really, really don't. And the older I get, the more I know I don't know anything. And I'm really okay with that too. Yeah. I like not knowing, because then I just discover so much more about myself or the world or whatever. And so, but when I did think I knew a lot in my teenage years and in my 20s, I was pretty stagnant and I was closed-minded. So I would say, be a good listener, and don't think you know everything.
I like that. I feel that too. I mean, you knew me in two different phases of my life, so you knew me the first 5 years of my training in jiu-jitsu, but you also knew me in my first marriage.
Right.
And as a left of center liberal.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like at the gym, you and I have always been, like when we're at the gym, we're about jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
Back then, when we were at the gym, we were about jiu-jitsu. Because that was before our friendship really developed. Like you moved away, then you came back from Minnesota. And then I feel like, in the last 4 years, we've really gotten to know each other really well. So but you knew me back then. And I don't know if you would be able to describe me, but I do feel like I just was so staunch in my ideas. And I felt like I had read it all and knew it all, and that I was right. And I think what a way to stifle personal development, and also put all of your friendships and relationships under a lot of pressure.
Under a lot of pressure and eggshells, maybe,
Definitely eggshells.
And, I'm not innocent of that. I had my own things where I had my heels dug in and I was not going to move. But that's what I mean. Over time, I learned to listen. And then I've learned so much more, and I'm so much more happier with it. I'm so much more fulfilled when I already thought I was filled.
Yeah.
I'm like, nope, I have it all. But I'm not naive. I was naive.
Yeah, I think that's good. I think, you've helped me grow a lot too. Like there's a couple people at the gym, one of, uh, just a guy that's a little bit more difficult, that sort of, can stress us out, one of the coaches, and, just kind of says things without thinking. And, and you helped me like really figure out, like, is he saying that because he wants to be mean to you? Or is it, what I mean?
Yeah.
And just help me think about it. And I'm like, wait a second. Why am I putting so much emotional energy into, making up the story about this? So you I'm pretty fiery, but you kind of tend to bring me down and just like, listen, does what he said matter?
Right.
Does his opinion matter? So that I'm really grateful to you for.
Oh, thank you.
And then I think, we've also had a lot of conversations about, not a lot of conversations. I don't feel like we gossip, but just kind of trying to figure out like where we fit in and things like that. And sort of difference of opinions about training and, that sort of area. And we've really had to navigate, like, it takes a lot of energy to try to avoid certain people. It takes a lot of energy to, just that low vibe stuff, I guess I would say. I feel like I'm confusing that. No. I'm confusing everything. But do you remember recently we were talking about that, where I was just like, man, it takes a lot of energy to, just kind of avoid certain people. Why am I doing this? I'm just going to show up and
totally. I know what you mean. And I used to do the same thing. And I realize now when I used to make it known that I'm avoiding you, I'm also adding fuel to the fire. I'm also being ugh.
Yeah.
So now I know to just, kill them with kindness, pretty much. I'm not going to act like you. It's like what you learn in third grade. I'm not going to act how you want me to act just because you're acting like that. I am going to be happy no matter what, even if you're in the room or not in the room.
Yeah.
I'm going to be me and not you, that I don't like. You're an example of how I don't want to be, but I won't do that to you because I'm going to treat others the way I want to be treated.
Yeah.
Because I've been mistreated, like, in elementary school, getting bullied or made fun of or whatever. It has really built my character. And now I know I don't ever want to treat anybody like that. So, and there was a period in my life where I did, because I was shown how through life and created a habit off that, and then noticed it and then broke the habit. And then now I'm like, oh gosh, like everyone's welcome to sit at the table as long as you're not bringing a shit platter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I went through that phase of, just kind of feeling serially betrayed and, like I can't trust anybody. And so I got to like build up these walls and really insulate myself and keep people at a distance. And if you step out of line, then I just can't let you at the table. And so then I'm just, finding myself like going places and being like, oh, here's all of the people that I have to keep at a distance, and then talking it out with you and just being like, oh my gosh, this is a lot to manage. Paul says, don't make enemies unnecessarily. And so I didn't see that I was making enemies of people, but I also saw them as an enemy.
Right.
And so then it just was like, oh man, I got to pull myself way back. Remember?
Right. Yes, I do.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then when you do pull yourself back, and I can also like speak for myself, you're like, oh man, I kind of was adding to it.
Absolutely. The energy was there.
Yeah. I was also putting out that
Yeah,
what I don't like.
the energy was there. Well, I appreciate you because I feel like you're always honest. And I feel like that's a rare characteristic of somebody who can just look at you and tell you the truth, you know? And
Well,
so
thank you.
I just want to tell you thank you for that.
Oh, you're welcome. And thank you for noticing that. Yeah, I mean, I like it when people are honest with me, and I like people that can give me eye contact
Hmm.
because it makes me feel comfortable and not know, I know that you're not blowing smoke up my butt.
Right.
I don't like that. I have enough conspiracies to worry about.
I agree. Totally. Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for
This
having
was a
me.
good day. All right. Thanks, everybody. That's it for us today. Join us next time on Asset Over Liability.